Good morning, everyone. In power system operation and control, the speed governing mechanism is one of the important topic. That is what we are going to see here. The main objective of the power system operation is to give continuous power supply to the consumers with good quality. For the system to be in equilibrium, always the generated power should be equal to the demand. We know power generated will be equal to demand plus losses. This equilibrium should be maintained. The two control mechanisms to achieve the real power and reactive power balance are the automatic voltage regulator and the for real power it is automatic load frequency control. So reactive power deals with the voltage profile and real power deals with the frequency value. We have seen in earlier classes about this voltage profile and frequency values. That is QV control, and for real power we will say it as PF control, and reactive power we have seen as QV control, right? So this reactive power balance is done via the automatic voltage regulator AVR that we will read in our third unit, and this real power balance is done by automatic load frequency control ALFC. This we will be reading in our second unit. The speed governing system includes the speed governor, control mechanism, control valves, and the speed changer. This speed governor is one of the main devices for the load frequency control to maintain the balance irrespective, and it is responsible for the speed variation. Right. Next is the control mechanism. It includes the relay action of the relays, pilot valves, amplifying devices, linkages, all these things. It exists between the speed governor and the control valves. This is between the speed governor and the control valves. Next is the control valve. The control valve main work is to control the input to the turbine, and the speed changer its main work is at the power output of the turbine. The speed governing mechanism is one of the important topic in the power system operation and control which we have to learn. The real power in the power system is being controlled by controlling the driving torque of the individual turbines of the system. By controlling the position of the control valves or the gates, we can control the flow of pressure into the high pressure steam through the turbine. We have the four major components in a speed governing system are the governor, speed changer, hydraulic amplifier, and the last one will be this linkage mechanism. So we know when load is being applied, automatically the speed will be decreasing. Load increases, speed decreases. If speed decreases, automatically frequency will be decreasing, because from the formula n is equal to 120 f by p, your speed and frequency are directly proportional. So speed increases, frequency increases, speed decreases, frequency decreases. Right. In order to maintain this, always we have to maintain our frequency as constant. Okay. Here when the load increases, speed decreases, so frequency will be decreasing. In order to maintain this, the speed changer will be useful to restore the frequency. By varying this position of the speed changer, we will be able to restore the frequency. Next is your hydraulic amplifier. The two major parts in hydraulic amplifier are pilot valve and the main piston. The hydraulic amplifier is necessary in order to open and close the steam valve. Open and close the steam valve against the high pressure steam. The next part is the linkage mechanism. We have two linkages, two rods A, B, C, first rod, and second rod is C, D, E, two rigid rods with B pivoted in the first rod and D pivoted in the second rod. So pivoted means the speed governor will be connected here. So when the load increases, speed will be decreasing. So this fly ball, these two fly ball will be moving outwards. When this fly ball move outwards, this point B will be lowering down. Okay, when this lower down, the speed changer will also raise. Raise means it will be coming down. So this is the action in the first link. This will tend to influence the second link. When this B point comes down, this D point will be moving up. So when this D point moves up, this pivoted valve will be moving up. Because of this movement of this pivoted valve, this high pressure oil enters into the hydraulic amplifier, and this makes the main piston to come down. When the main piston comes down, so the valve to the turbine will be open, so the high steam enters into the turbine, and finally the more power will be generated. The increase the power output slightly increases the frequency. So here the power output is increased, so it increases the frequency also. So each and every action is interlinked. Speed governor is linked with speed changer, then it is linked with the piston. Pilot valve is linked with main piston. The action of this main piston increases the flow of steam to the turbine. So this is the overall working of the speed governing mechanism. Now we are going to see the different components of the speed governing system and its function. It is same whatever I have said in the previous slide. First part is the speed governor. It is the speed sensitive device, and it is directly coupled to the prime mover, and it senses the change in speed as well as the change in frequency. When load increases, the speed decreases. So when speed decreases, the flywheel will move out and the linkage mechanism will move down, right? So the speed and the frequency are directly related with this equation. Next is the hydraulic amplifier. It has pilot valves and main piston. So this hydraulic amplifier is necessary to open and close the steam valve. Next is your speed changer. It is mainly used to get the steady state output at the turbine end. Okay. So it's the when the speed changer is moved down, it permits more steam to enter into the turbine, and reverse happens when we move it upwards. Next one is the linkage mechanism. We have two linkages. The function is to control the steam valve. So in the linkage mechanism, we have a feedback movement of the steam, right? At the end point uh, near the turbine and this hydraulic amplifier, there occurs a feedback loop. So all these explanations is necessary while writing for your exam. The main objective of the power system operation is to give continuous power supply to the consumers with good quality. For the system to be in equilibrium, always the generated power should be equal to the demand. We know power generated will be equal to demand plus losses. This equilibrium should be maintained. The two control mechanisms to achieve the real power and reactive power balance are the automatic voltage regulator and the for real power it is automatic load frequency control. So reactive power deals with the voltage profile and real power deals with the frequency value. We have seen in earlier classes about this voltage profile and frequency values. That is QV control, and for real power we will say it as PF control, and reactive power we have seen as QV control, right? So this reactive power balance is done via the automatic voltage regulator AVR that we will read in our third unit, and this real power balance is done by automatic load frequency control ALFC. This we will be reading in our second unit. With the movement of this del XA, the linkage point C and D moves upward by the amount del XC and del XD respectively. Due to this movement of the D, high pressure oil enters into the hydraulic amplifier, and high pressure oil flows into the bottom of the main piston, and this causes the motion of the piston to move downwards by a small amount del Xc due to the opening of the steam valve. So here steam valve will be opened. Due to the opening of the steam valve, there is increased flow of steam into the turbine, resulting in increased generation of the power del Pg. The increased power output slightly increases the frequency del F. With the increased, so as frequency increases, speed increases. With the increased speed, the fly ball of the speed governor moves outward, this causing the point B to come down, to move slightly downward to a small distance del xb, where del xb is directly proportional to del f. Due to this downward movement of the link B, and the link point C also moves downward by a small amount del xc. All these incremental movements are assumed to be positive, and this incremental movements, all these events are expressed in the mathematical form in the upcoming slides. The same explanation of the previous slide is given in word format, as you will not be having the books now, so you can refer all these slides for your future reference. So the net moment of the link point C is given as the difference between K1 del F minus K2 del PC. Right? So one upward movement, one downward movement takes place. This K1 and K2 depends upon the length of the link arm and also proportional to the speed changer and the governor. Now we are going to see the different components of the speed governing system and its function. It is same whatever I have said in the previous slide. First part is the speed governor. It is the speed sensitive device, and it is directly coupled to the prime mover, and it senses the change in speed as well as the change in frequency. When load increases, the speed decreases. So when speed decreases, the flywheel will move out and the linkage mechanism will move down. Right? So the speed and the frequency are directly related with this equation. Our final expression will be of this form, del xc of s and del pc of s. So we are going to eliminate del xc of s and xd of s. So in this equation, in xc of s, we are going to substitute for xd of s. After substituting, this is the xd of s. Okay. After substituting, then you have to substitute for xc of s. So finally, your expression will be of term xc of s and del pc of s. So when you segregate del x on one side, del xc on one side, and del pc and del f of s on the other side. After segregating the terms, we are just taking the LCM, and after taking the LCM, bring this term to the denominator part, and then this S and S will get cancelled, and this is the simplified form. This will be a simplified form, and final expression will be of this form. This will be a final expression. Here, this K2, K3 by K4, we are writing it as Kg. It is the gain of the governor, and 1 divided by K4, K5. This will be your Tg. We are considering it as time constant of the governor, and K2 by K1. In the derivation, you will be getting as K1 by K2, but your regulation of the speed is considered as K2 by K1. So substituting all these things, our final expression will be del xc of s equal to kg into del pc of s minus 1 by r del f of s by 1 plus s into tg. This expression you have to remember. It is one of the important expression. This is the expression of your uh, uh, speed governor. This is the final expression of the speed governor, and we are drawing the model of the speed governor in a block diagram format. So here we are having a difference. So input will be a del PC of S, and with a subtractor here the frequency will be given as the input with the regulation, and kg by 1 plus s into tg. This block we are saying it as the transfer function of the speed governor. The time constant of the governor tg value will be always less than 100 millisecond. Next is the turbine model. So your turbine model is derived as kT by 1 plus S into Tt. So the output of the turbine is your del Pg of S, and the input for the turbine will be your del Xe of S. That is the action of the main piston. So these things you will be able to remember when you recollect the first basic diagram of the steam turbine. Okay. So your block diagram will be your turbine model is represented as kT by 1 plus S into Tt. Tt is your time constant. Its value ranges between 0.2 to 2 seconds. Now we are combining our speed governor as well as our turbine model. So this is a speed governor model, and this is your turbine model. Now we are cascading our speed governor and the turbine. When we cascade and solve it, your expression will be coming like this. We are considering the speed or the frequency is assumed to be constant, assumed to be independent of the output power. So we are assuming our frequency is 0. When you substitute del f of s is 0, your equation will be reduced to this term and only del pc. So this is our reduced term. When we are assuming our output of the generator is independent of frequency. We are going to see the static power generation with steady state response for the controlled case. If it is a controlled case, we will be assuming a step change of del PC. So del PC, when we are giving a step change, step input, del PC of S will be written as del PC of S by S. Okay. So when we substitute in the equation, last final equation, it will be like this. So taking this S to opposite side and substituting Tg and Tt equal to 0 as it is static. So our final expression will be, we are summarizing it as del Pg static is equal to Kg Kt into del Pc. And assuming Kg Kt equal to 1, so we are saying del Pg static is approximately equal to del Pc. This is a controlled case. So in controlled case, remember you should consider a step change of del Pc. In uncontrolled case, we will be assuming our del Pc input power command is 0, and the load will be suddenly increased by a small amount of del Pd. So as del Pc is 0 in our basic equation, this Pc value we are substituting as 0. So equation is reduced like this. For a step change, your frequency value is given as del f by s, and your time constant Tg and Tt. Tg is the time constant of the governor, and Tt is the time constant of the turbine. So its value will be equal to 0, and the product of Kg Kt will be equal to 1. In this, so when you substitute all these values in this equation, your del Pg of s will be equal to minus del f of s by Rs. So R is a regulation, and when this S, when you cross multiply, a static power is given as S into del Pg of S, which is equal to minus del F by R. So for uncontrolled case, your del Pg static is approximately equal to minus del F by R. In static case, your equation was your del Pg static was equal to del Pc. In uncontrolled case, it is minus del F by R. Next topic is the regulation of alternators. As we know, the definition of regulation is given as the percentage rise in voltage when full load at the specific power factor is switched off, the excitation being adjusted to the normal value. It is this formula, percentage R equal to no load voltage minus full load voltage by no load voltage. The value of regulation should be normally low as much as possible. The basic requirement for parallel operation of alternators are given here. All the alternators should have same output voltage rating. The rating, they should have rated speed with same frequency. We know different types of alternators like parallel, salient pole, round rotor alternators. So while for parallel operation, the alternator should be of same type. A combined type should not be there. The prime mover of the alternator should have same speed load drooping characteristics. Next, all the alternators should have reactances, that is XD dash component should be present for the successful parallel operation of the alternator. The condition for proper synchronizing, we have read all these things in synchronizing our transformer itself. Once again, we will recollect. The terminal voltage of the incoming machine should be exactly same as that of the outgoing machine, that is as that of the thing connected to the bus bar. The speed of the incoming machine should be such that its frequency equals the bus bar frequency. Frequency match. Then third one will be the phase of the incoming machine should be same as that of the phase of the bus bar voltage, and fourth is the phase sequence of both the things, that is the machine as well as the bus bar should be same. So totally four things you have to remember: terminal voltage, speed and frequency. Third one is the phase and phase sequence. Thank you.